Hi there, today we're going to be taking apart a Walbro clone fuel pump. A lot of people are having issues with these. We'll go through why they're having issues. First thing we're going to do is remove the tops, which is easy enough. Obviously need the correct tooling for it, which I have. The only thing you got to note is when undoing these screws, the nuts on the very bottom can fall out, so just make sure you've got somewhere to catch them. They can fall out, they don't always fall out. This fuel pump here, I've actually already replaced all of the gaskets in it. I'll show you the way it was when I first took it apart, so you can understand why people were having the issues. A lot of the issues tend to be that you are getting some fuel in there, but not enough. So it's not like a complete pump failure, it's like a partial pump failure. And it's hard to tell, because all you seem to do is you go up in the jet sizes and still thinking that you're running lean, when it's actually just the pump not producing enough at high RPMs. This can be a bit of a bugger. You think they're loose, not quite loose. So this is how they normally come apart. Note, there is a spring in the top there. It's actually got a location position. On the second one, after you take the seal off, there is another spring located there. That also has a recess that it sits in, as you can see with the recess. And then you got your little flapper valve there. That doesn't normally come with the kit. Once you remove it, you'll notice that there is another spring located there. That is actually for that flapper valve there. So when I first took this thing apart, this is what was together when I first pulled this thing apart. There was no spring on the bottom. There was no spring located on the inside. The spring here was actually located near where that flapper valve is there, but once the seal was on, so it was actually sitting skew-if, like so. So therefore, this pump was only partially working. So I'll put it back together so you understand how this thing goes back together. Remember, bottom seal comes off. You can see there's actually a location spot for the spring. And that's that spring there. Locates in there. Another thing you got to look out for is the way the seal goes. Got to coincide with, obviously, that. So I'm going to put it back. Now, that's the worst thing about putting these pumps together is it's hard to tell if you've got them aligned, because that spring always wants to push it back up. So all I can do is just feel for it and then just let it sit. Turn it just to make sure that spring is in place. And now I put the top section back on. Oh yeah, and when you're putting these on, there's actually locating lugs sitting up proud. As you can see, the locating lug. Like I said, that spring sits under. Locating lug to locating lug. And I've got it a bit skew-if here, that's okay. Turn it around. That's the bottom. I'm just checking to make sure she's sitting well with the seals, because that spring wants to sort of push it apart. Now that section's done, you then put, that was a weird thing with the new kit. This never came with the new kit, but I've decided to put this with this anyway. Sometimes you got to turn the spring around because the springs are just slightly different, or even twist them so that they locate properly. It's just sitting up on that little ledge. Now it's in. Put the cap back on it. Main diaphragm. And once again, that's going to sit up. Going to try and give you hell to try and line it up. You got to just do your best you can. Now this doesn't have locating lugs. But you'll notice when you put it on, if you put it on that way and those lines are too close together, like this will still work in this direction. You could actually spin it around to whatever direction you want it and it'll still work. But taking it back to its stock position, screws go back in, push it down. Gently put the screws in first, just to make sure everything's located properly. Don't go and force one side first, because if that seal's not sitting properly, we've just double checked it, the seals are sitting properly. Now I can clamp it down. I like to go all the way around and then just double check again, because the seals sometimes pull down and you end up loose again on the other side. And that is the replacement of these seals.